In 1885, it took 40 men, working 16-hour days, an entire week to harvest a single farm. By 1886, it took one machine and one driver exactly 11 hours, 40 men gone, and nobody saw it coming. But here's the part that'll keep you up at night, the machine that did it. It wasn't even the final version. What came next made that look like a toy. Stay with me. This gets wild. Let's rewind. Picture yourself as a wheat farmer in 1870s America. You wake up before the sun. Your back already hurts. You grab a hand sickle, basically a curved knife, and you walk into a field that stretches further than you can see. Your job? Cut every single stalk. By hand. Then bundle it. Then thresh it, which means beating the grain loose from the stalk. Then winnow it, separating the grain from the garbage. 4 brutal, back-breaking steps, each one done by human muscle. And here's the thing nobody talks about. Timing was everything. You had maybe a 10-day window between when the wheat ripened and when it rotted. Miss that window? Your entire year's income gone. So farmers hired armies, literal armies of migrant workers who traveled from farm to farm during harvest season. We're talking crews of 40, 60, sometimes over 100 people descending on a single property. They slept in barns. They ate together. Entire temporary towns popped up around harvest time. It was chaotic. It was expensive. And every single farmer in America knew the same terrifying truth. There had to be a better way. But the solution? It didn't come from a farmer. It came from someone most people have completely forgotten. And what he built changed the world faster than almost any invention in history. His name was Hiram Moore. And in the 1830s, while everyone else was trying to build a slightly better sickle, Hiram asked a question that sounded absolutely insane. What if one machine could do all 4 steps at once? Cut, bundle, thresh, winnow. One pass through the field. Done. People laughed. Literally. The engineering required was, for the 1830s, like asking someone to build a smartphone out of wood and horseshoes. But Hiram didn't care. He spent years tinkering in a Michigan barn, and by 1836, he had a working prototype of the very first combine harvester, called that because it combined every harvest step into one machine. Now pause. Here's where most documentaries would tell you it was an overnight success. It wasn't. Not even close. The first combines were disasters. They were massive, some as wide as a house, pulled by teams of 20 or more horses. They broke down constantly. They were so expensive that only the wealthiest farmers could dream of owning one. And they were so complicated that most people couldn't operate them without an engineer standing next to them. For 50 years, the combine was a curiosity, a rich man's novelty, a promise that couldn't quite deliver. But then, and this is the twist, something happened in California that changed everything. And it had nothing to do with farming. Gold. The California gold rush had pulled hundreds of thousands of people west. And when the gold ran out, those people needed to eat. California's Central Valley turned out to be one of the most fertile places on Earth, but it had a problem farmers back east didn't have. No workers. The migrant labor networks that existed in the Midwest and the East Coast hadn't reached California yet. Farms were massive. We're talking tens of thousands of acres, and there simply weren't enough hands to harvest them. Wheat was literally rotting in the fields because nobody could cut it fast enough. Desperation is the mother of innovation, and California farmers were desperate, so they started investing heavily in combine technology. And this is where it gets fascinating. Between 1880 and 1900, California became a laboratory for agricultural machines. Inventors competed like tech startups. Every season, someone rolled out a bigger, better, more efficient combine. And then, in the mid-1880s, one particular model hit the fields, and farmers couldn't believe what they were seeing. A single machine, pulled by a team of horses or mules, rolling through a wheat field and doing the work of, wait for it, 100 men. In a single day, it could harvest, thresh, and clean more grain than an entire crew could manage in a week. One farmer reportedly watched the machine work for an hour, turned to his neighbor, and said something along the lines of, "What are all those men going to do now?" That question, it echoed for the next century. Here's the part of this story that doesn't make it into the brochures. When the combine replaced those 100 workers, those workers didn't just find new jobs the next day. Many of them were migrant laborers, people who had built their entire lives around following the harvest. They had no land, no savings, no safety net. When the machines arrived, they were simply not needed anymore. And it happened fast. Between 1880 and 1920, the number of farm workers needed to harvest an acre of wheat dropped by over 90%. Think about that. 9 out of 10 jobs vanished. Some workers moved to cities and found factory work. Some went further west. Some just disappeared from the historical record entirely. We don't know what happened to them, and that silence says more than any statistic. But here's what makes this story so much more complicated than machines bad, workers good. The combines didn't just eliminate jobs, they made food cheaper, dramatically cheaper. Grain that used to be a luxury became affordable for almost everyone. The price of bread dropped, nutrition improved, populations grew. The very people displaced by the machines were in a strange twist fed by them too. It's an uncomfortable paradox, and it's one we're living through again right now, but I'll get to that in a second. First, I need to tell you about what happened when they added an engine. Up to this point, every combine was pulled by animals, horses, mules, sometimes 33 of them hitched to a single machine. It was powerful, sure, but it was limited by how many animals you could control and how fast they could walk. Then came gasoline engines, and later diesel, and the combine went from impressive to unstoppable. By the 1930s, self-propelled combines existed. No horses, no mules. One driver climbed into a cab and drove through a field at speeds that would have seemed like science fiction to Hiram Moore. And the numbers? The numbers are almost hard to process. In 1830, harvesting 1 acre of wheat took about 20 labor hours. By 1930, it took less than 1. By the 1960s, it took minutes. Today, a modern John Deere S-Series combine can harvest over 100 acres in a single day. It uses GPS, it has yield mapping sensors, it adjusts its own settings in real time based on crop conditions. 1 machine, 1 operator, 100 acres. The combine didn't just replace 100 workers. Over the course of a century, it replaced millions. Now here's why I'm telling you this story today. And it's not just because combines are cool, which honestly they are. We're living in 1885 again, right now. Except instead of wheat fields, it's offices. Instead of combines, it's algorithms. And instead of farm workers, it's, well, a lot of us. Every single argument people made in the 1880s is being made right now. The machines will take all the jobs. No, the machines will create new jobs. People will adapt. People won't adapt fast enough. It's the exact same debate, word for word, just with different nouns. And here's what the combine story teaches us. And it teaches us both sides simultaneously. Yes, the transition was brutal. Real people suffered. Real livelihoods were destroyed. That pain was real. And pretending otherwise is dishonest. But also, and this is equally true, the world on the other side was better fed, more prosperous, and more capable than the one before. The combine didn't end farming. It transformed it. It freed up human labor to build cities, invent airplanes, create the internet, and eventually make videos about combines for people to watch on their phones. The question was never, will the machine replace us? It always replaces us. The question is, what do we become next? One machine, built by a man most people have never heard of, tested in California gold country, perfected over a century. It replaced 100 workers in a single day, and then it kept going. It reshaped the global food supply, redrawn the map of labor, and quietly became one of the most important inventions in human history. And the wildest part? It's still evolving. The combines being tested right now don't even need a driver. The harvest never stops. It just changes who's doing the harvesting. If this story made you think even a little about what's coming next, drop a like. It genuinely helps more people see this. And if you want to go deeper on how technology reshapes the world in ways nobody expects, subscribe, because the next one, it's even crazier than this. I'll see you there.